Hey guys, today we're going over some financial mathematics. Now you're going to need to know these topics for your Australian Year 7 Maths curriculum, and if you're able to do everything I do in this video, you'll be getting an A, okay? In this video we'll be doing 6 things. First, we'll be going over what financial math is, why we need to know it, why it's important. Second, we're going to be going over percentage discounts, then GST, profit and loss, and then interest. So percentage discounts, that's like you walking past EB Games or a jewelry store and big 50% discount. Now, how do you calculate exactly how much cheaper your stuff's going to be? That's percentage discount. Second, we're going to be going over GST, which unfortunately some people have to pay. Then we're going to be going over profit and loss. That's seeing if you've actually made money or lost money when you do something. And fifth, we're going to be going over interest. And that's when the bank gives you money for having money in the bank, or when you have to pay money for owing the bank money, okay? And lastly, we're going to go over it all, make sure we understand everything, and make sure you're on your way to getting that A, okay? So first, what is financial math? We're talking about money here, anything to do with money, okay? So money you have in the bank, money you want to pay for something, money you owe to people, it's just money. And this is super important because money is everywhere. Money dictates where you can live, what you can eat, the car you can drive, how much you have to work. It is in everything. And once you're an adult like me, you really have to understand money. So let's prepare you for that. So percentage discount, like I said before, your EB Games 50% off, half off, or your jewelry store where you get 25% off some earrings or something like that. This is how we're going to take our total price and we're going to work out how much we actually have to pay after our percent discount is applied. So let's take an example where something costs $100. Let's say you're buying $100 worth of V-Bucks and you're going to get 10% off of that. So 100, right? That's how much we're paying. But there's a 15% discount, okay? 15%. Now, how do we take 15% off of 100 and work out how much we're having to pay or how much we're saving? Now, if you watched my previous video on fractions, decimals, and percentages, you know how to do this. You know that we'd want to convert this into a decimal so we can work with it easily in our calculator, okay? So 15% of 100, smart kids here already know percent means of 100. So 15% of 100, that's going to be $15. But how do we work that out mathematically? Percent, we're going to do over 100. So we're going to times by 15 over 100. So 100 times 15, then 100 divide 100. So these hundreds cancel out and we're left with 15. But that's not how much we have to pay. That's how much we saved. So now let's do 100 minus 15 equals 85. So now our V-Bucks or whatever we're buying for $100 that's been discounted by 15%, we only have to pay $85. We saved $15. That's pretty good. So let's do one more example. Say we're buying $35 worth of KFC and we have an employee or a family discount or something like that of 20%. Now let's work out how much we're going to save with this 20% discount and how much we actually have to pay. So remember, like we did before, percent means over 100. So we're going to multiply this by 20 and we're going to divide 100. Now you can probably do all this math, but I'm going to put it in the calculator because I'm lazy, and we get $7. Now remember, that's how much we're going to save. Now we need to do 35 minus 7, and then we're going to get 28. So now my KFC is only going to cost me $28. I saved $7. That's awesome. I can get something with that. I love discounts. Now we're going to go over GST, which everyone hates. No one likes GST. It's the opposite of a percent discount. You're paying 10% on top of everything. If you ever look at a receipt, they show the GST and it's always going to be 10%, okay? Now, in countries like America, you would actually have to look at the price and then calculate GST on top of that, and then you'd have to pay that. But in Australia, we're really lucky. GST is already included in the price. But let's say you're running a business and you need to know how much you're going to have to charge for GST. Also, GST means goods and services tax. It's a tax. We hate tax. Tax takes away from us. So let's do an easy one. Let's say as a business, we're selling something and it's $100. Now, the price tag we're actually going to have to put on that is going to be 10% extra. What we can do here is we can actually times it by 1.1, okay? Now that would mean 110%. So we're doing the price plus the 10% of GST added on, which is at 0.1. Now that's going to be 110. Now if you don't know how to multiply by decimals, I have a video on that. Go back on my channel, you can find it, decimal multiplication. Okay, so now the price that we're going to show the customers is actually going to be $110. And the government is just going to take that $10 from us. Let's do a slightly trickier one. Let's do 35 again. Say we want to charge someone, say we want to make $35 from a product. Now we're going to have to add on our GST, so we're going to times it by 1.1 or 110%. So it's 1, which is our price, and then 0.1, which is our 10% added on, okay? And that's going to be 38.5. So that's the price we actually have to show the customers. Now, like I said before, in America, this would be the advertised price, and this would be the price you have to pay. Imagine how annoying that would be. So that's goods and services tax, or GST. Now let's go over profit and loss. Profit means how much money you make from something, and loss means how much money you lost from something. So this is pretty simple. Say you're trying to sell a product for $100, but it cost you $107 to make. So we're going to minus the $107. Now, how much profit did we make? We made no profit. We lost $7. Okay, now let's try an example where we get a profit. Say we're going to be selling something for $50, and after we drive there and we ship it and everything, all the expenses included, it's going to cost us $35. Now, how much profit did we make from this sale? We made $15. Now, that's it, guys. Profit and loss is pretty simple. You want to make profit, you don't want to make loss. Now, interest isn't really going to be something you have to deal with as a kid, but when you get to being an adult, you're going to take out loans or you're going to want interest on your money. Now, what that is when there's an amount of money and someone owes someone. Now, you don't want to have nothing for just giving someone that money. You want a little bit on top, and that's called the interest. Now, interest is often calculated annually, meaning per year, but we're just going to ignore that and we're just going to do a little bit of a percentage here, just like the GST. So, say someone owes you $100 and you want 15% interest. That's usury. That's a lot. So we're going to times by that 15%. Now, if you watched my video before on fractions, decimals, and percentages, you know that to get from a percentage to a decimal, you divide by 100. So 15% divided by 100, that's going to equal 0.15. So if we times 100 by 0.15, we know we're going to have to pay $15 on top of the amount back, okay? Now, let's say you take out a home loan for $500,000, right? And what's a home loan these days? Let's just guess 7%. So every year you have to pay 7% of this amount, and that doesn't even go back to paying your original amount. So how do we find 7% as a decimal so that we can multiply it by this to find our interest? Well, we're going to do 7% and we're going to divide by 100. 7 divided by 100 is going to be 0.07. So if we multiply 500,000 by 0.07, we're going to get 35,000. Now that's how much you're giving to the bank every year for absolutely nothing. Interest, you don't want to touch it until you're an adult, but there you have it. So now that we've gone over all that, let's recap. What is financial math? Any math to do with money, okay? Now our 4 topics, percentage discount, remember, that's where we go $100 and say it's a 50% discount. We're going to multiply it by 0.5 and we're going to get $50 off, or our thing's going to cost $50. Now GST, goods and services tax, that's where we add that 10% on at the end. We times by 1.1, $100 times by 1.1 equals $110. So after GST, it's actually going to cost us $110. The owner's only going to make $100. Okay, profit and loss, that was the simplest. Now remember, that's where If you're selling it for $100 and it costs you $35 to make, you're going to make $65. That's profit and loss. And interest, that's where if you give a friend $100 and you want to charge them 5% interest, by the time they pay it back, you're going to multiply by 0.05 and they're going to have to pay an extra $5 on top of the principal amount. So that's your financial math. If you're able to do all this, you'll get an A in your Year 7 curriculum for maths. Now, if you learned anything in this video, please leave a like. Feel free to comment. Ask me for a video if you want. I also do provide a tutoring service, so look through my channel to find that if you're interested. Thanks for watching. Bye.